true Jessica fashion, I filmed an entire video and did not realize that I had pimple cream on my hairline. And if you mention it, you're anti-black. So I'm telling you that it's there, but you don't see it. Okay? Thank you.
Hey, hi, hello, welcome back to my channel. My name is Jess. Didn't I turn it? Sorry. Turned off the fan and the air purifier. Step one. Welcome back to my channel. This is another video I didn't plan on, but I felt like I've seen a few videos on it on TikTok and it was moving my spirit. I felt angry. And as you already see, it's about fanfic to trad pub, specifically in the realm of the books coming out this year that are based on the Hermione pairing, which is Draco Malfoy and Hermione Granger. Now, I made a video about this. Was it this year? I think it was the beginning of this year. I will link it here. And I don't remember all I said. I did have like some thoughts, some concerns, you know, like the pros and cons of this, because there are 3 different books that are being published, I think all in July, oddly enough, by traditional publishers, by writers who are very popular in the Hermione fanfic world. Now, 2 of them are fan fictions that have been they filed the serial numbers off and made them into original works. So they still are like the premise of that story, but they've had to go in and remove traces of the original IP, Harry Potter, that they were based on. Well, one's Harry Potter and the Handmaid's Tale, another one's just Harry Potter. The third one is not a file off the serial numbers, but it is by a popular Hermione author, but it's an original story. But that's what brings me here today, is that one, which is like The Irresistible Urge to Fall for Your Enemy, I think is the ridiculously long title. The fanfic by that author also has a ridiculously long title, but this is not that fanfic reworked. I think that's very important. However, the sell sheet, I could be wrong on what that's called, but what's been put out on Edelweiss, I think, which was created by the publisher for marketing of this book. Again, an original story by a traditional publisher, I think it's Harper Collins, and this, I will insert an image of it. And I think this is so harmful, and other people have made videos on this. That's what I saw earlier on TikTok, and I think this is so harmful, and I think irresponsible of a traditional publisher to do this.
Okay, I'm going to read it for you. So it says, what is Hermione? Hermione is the pairing of Draco Malfoy and Hermione Granger from the Harry Potter series. For those who may not know, Draco was one of the antagonists and Hermione was one of the 3 main characters of the series. Like this, this is not necessary. Like with any fandom, people wonder, what if these 2 characters got together? And since Draco and Hermione are complete opposites, and because everyone loves a good enemies to lover story, naturally this was a fan favorite pairing. The emergence of Hermione skyrocketed within the fanfiction community, which led to several published adaptations, including the forthcoming Alchemised by Sinlin Yu, adapted from Manacled, setting us up to break out Brigitte Knightley at just the right time. And then it has all of the different statistics, and I just have to say that I hate this so much, because I'll say this in the video, but I'll say it here again. The people who are already a fan already knew about this, and to normal people or the normies, I think this is a terrible way to market that. Market it as its own story. What the
Now, if you were already in the fandom, then you know, like you follow this author, you see that she's promoted this book on her socials, so they already had captured that audience. People who are already in the fandom. So I feel like your marketing, you should be doing everything in your power to market it to people outside of that fandom, because this is a duology and you're going to want people to be invested enough to read the next one. And while there may be people in the fandom that are definitely going to become your consumer, that's not everybody. So it seems lazy to me to not really work on marketing this as an independent original story, which it is. And a side note, I was going to do a full review of this because I have read it. I might still do that because I think that it is very separate from HP, and that I think if you didn't market it as this, unless you were in the know, you really wouldn't know if you read it. I won't give away too much more. I will film the review, okay? But to put Hermione and have these trademarked names on your marketing, excuse me, on your marketing for original story is ridiculous. Now, I have to think that their legal team thought about this, and I have to think that their legal team thought about this, but I'm not, beside the point that Joanne Rowling, the author of Harry Potter, is the worst. Besides her terrible beliefs about transgender people, apparently also if you are asexual, she's ridiculous. A terrible human being who uses all her money and influence for the wrong things. I don't think, there are conflicting statements of like her feelings on fan fiction, and then I think also that I've seen or heard, I don't know, that she wasn't a fan of people like finding Draco Malfoy attractive or like, you know, seeing him in a positive light. But I just am like, did you talk to her to okay this? Because it doesn't seem to me, I don't know, that she would be okay with this, and I think then that brings in a risk of her suing, because now her trademarked, copywritten names, franchise are being used to market this story. Not like some people throwing it out. This isn't a random booktuber on the internet saying, this gave me Hermione vibes, or this reminded me of this. This dynamic reminds me of this. That's like, now I don't remember all of the marketing for the Love Hypothesis. I would have to go back and look. But I never read Reylo, right? I'm not in the fandom. I only know that it was a Reylo, like based off of Reylo fan fiction because of people who were in the know who said that. And that's how I feel like they should have marketed this. Like if you were in the know, you know. If you don't, you don't. Also, I think that Reylo, I don't know what her Reylo fics were like if they were a non-magical AU, but the Love Hypothesis being a contemporary romance also gives it great distance, and I think that these Hermione books that are coming out are all romantasy or like fantasy, because I wouldn't call Alchemised a romance. I would not call that a romance. So I think that makes the lines even blurrier, but I just find it very strange and concerning for a traditional publisher to market it like this. I think that's dangerous, even if she doesn't sue. But if she did, or, you know, publishers have money. They have big teams, they have legal teams, they have money to protect themselves. I would worry about the author. And then I would worry about the future of fandom and fan fiction, because people, you know, may be scared. I think a lot of people, even I, before I was an avid fan fiction reader, knew about Anne Rice and her feelings about fan fiction and the things that she did back in the day. But I feel like a lot of people who have come into fandom, who've been introduced to it by like TikTok, are not aware of that, are not aware of the moral, the gray area that fan fiction already exists in, and that it's meant to be free. And now for a publisher, they're already lurking in these spaces, right? They see what's popular and they go for these authors, and then turning that into traditional publishing. So that's already, I'm happy for the authors because I have read and enjoyed their works, and now obviously something they did for free, now they're getting to make money. But like, also that also blows. Like, capitalism ruins everything. It's like, capitalism ruins everything. So they're already lurking in fandoms to try to find the next cash cow, because that's all they care about. It's not about the story. They care about what can make them money and quickly and with the least amount of work, because this comes with a built-in fandom, right? But so even if she doesn't sue, I just hate, I thought I had more positive feelings about it, but the closer we get to the release date, the more people I see talking about it, the more people, just regular people who aren't in fandom, talking about it and then talking about fan fiction, it's gotten out of hand. There's no etiquette. People are not curious about the community aspect of it, and it's very sad. Even as a newbie myself, I quickly learned rules, corrected myself, and have found community online with people who read things that I read, and I can talk about it with them. Some people directly, some in like a group setting. Do you know what I'm saying? But so many people come in and they are just like, they want to take. And so with the fanfic's already being turned to traditional publishing, but the way that this publisher specifically, now I have not seen specific marketing for Rose in Chains or Alchemized besides like their cover, to comment on how those publishers are marketing it. But if their sell sheet, their marketing has anything that's like saying Hermione, saying Harry Potter, saying Draco and Hermione Granger, I think that is an awful idea and is terrible. And it puts fandom in danger.
Well. I went looking and I found this. This is the major marketing campaign for Rose in Chains by Julie Soto, who is already a traditionally published author, but has written many fics in the Hermione space. This says romantasy meets an obsessed fandom. I hate you guys. Rose in Chains is inspired by Julie Soto's popular Hermione fanfic, The Auction. Then again, it has statistics. Again, on sale in July. It says fans even created their own books showing people's fan binds, which I would like to say here that the majority of people who are taking their time to bind fan fictions are doing it for themselves or for as a gift to someone else. And I probably say that in this video again, but I'm just reiterating it because people do put them up online for sale. But most of the time, it's not the people who take their time to bind these fics because they actually fucking love them. Anyway. Then it has popular fanfic, big buzzy books, and it lists down here The Love Hypothesis, The Hurricane Wars, and Alchemised. So this one again is saying Hermione, and also I have another clip to insert from a book box that this is going to be included in. So if you don't want to, when you don't want spoilers for the box, then I'll just put spoilers here in the next 3, 2, 1. Okay, Fairy Loot's June theme is called Shackled Obsession. Okay? I hate it. And I will tell you why. It's because the auction and then simultaneously Rose in Chains, the premise is that the female character, the person or group that she belongs to has been basically hated on, subjugated, oppressed by this other group that the male character is a part of. And then he buys her in an auction. Okay? So having your little thing say shackled obsession is not cute. It's not like some like BDSM or like kink where they're handcuffing each other. Okay? He buys her at an auction. I also would like to add in, hold on, let me add in the image so you can really feel it. Shackled Obsession. This is the original cover. And then the next one, like, this looks more like a white woman, right? The next one is giving more, I think it's leaning more into the racially ambiguous woman with the collar on her neck by being bought by the white man. Okay. I don't know. I haven't read it, so I don't know what tones they're going to use in the book to describe the female character. I don't know what her name is. I think it's like Bryony or something terrible. But the optics of that, I don't like it. Okay. Also, my big problem with a lot of these fan fictions is that I don't know the artists that they're using, if they are ones who do fan art for Hermione, but the art for these traditionally published books looks exactly like the art for the fan fictions. If you are going to make an entirely unique story where you are filing off the serial numbers, change how the fucking characters look. Okay, he doesn't need to be this white blonde. She doesn't have to be a brunette, whatever. Especially not a racially ambiguous one. Why are you doing that? If it's going to be an independent story, and again, I don't work in publishing, I don't know how much control they have over the cover art. I know it's not always in their control, but... And so I don't know if that happened also with Raylo. Like, I don't know if they look exactly the same. I'm not in that fandom. I don't know. I don't like this. You should be trying to distance yourself as much as possible, not just like be like, hee hee. You know, we took the character name out, but that's it. It's supposed to be completely different. Anyway, I'm adding in here. I'm going to read the caption under this Fairy Loot post to tell you my problem with that. So it says, we are thrilled to reveal the romantasy book only theme for June is Shackled Obsession. And then it has the cover, dust jacket. Okay, so they did work with a popular artist who does a lot of Hermione fiction, which is Avondale art. Okay, that makes sense. Our featured book of the month is perfect for readers that love forced proximity. Rival families, unique magic systems. That's an interesting way to describe this. Again, to be fair, I have not read the traditional pub version. I've heard people's reviews of it, and I've seen some people get on TikTok and say like they weren't aware it was going to be like dark romance, They didn't know what this was going to be. So I think putting forced proximity in rival families is a little disingenuous when the forced proximity is because he buys her. Okay? We need to be honest with the marketing of these damn books. It's not just a cutesy little romantasy. Some people like dark romance. Some people don't. You need to be fully transparent when you are marketing these fucking books so that the right people read them. And then you don't have people online like, I hated this because I didn't realize it was this. It just said forced proximity in rival families. Oh no, it's darker than that, honey. And so I think this is irresponsible.
There are already too many people who have come in with a consumption, as a consumer mindset. Like, this person wrote this thing, I want it, and now I have the right to comment on it, critique it, blast it over the internet. I want more. If it's a whip, a work in progress, when are you updating? I don't read whips. Like, I just... it's so disgusting. So I just think it's, the lines are too blurred now where it's like overlapping. And so more people are just going to look at fan fiction like they look at traditional publishing. There's already a problem with people putting fan fictions on Goodreads and Storygraph, which they should not be. They are not, they are a gift. Literally, people write these things for free. And granted, I guess it depends. Like, I think some of these things are the greatest pieces of writing I've ever read. However, if I was not invested in the ship, then, you know, to an outside person who read them, they're probably not going to think they're as great. But like, to me, they have been, I've read literally masterpieces from 40,000 words to 588,000 word masterpieces that people wrote for free just because they were passionate fans, not because they thought it was going to be a ticket to traditional publishing. I think that's something I did touch on in my previous video where I was like, that's a worry of mine, that more people will see, you know, whatever fandom's popular at the moment as a way, as their path to traditional publishing. Not like you can't write fan fiction and, you know, really exercise your writing and build your writing up. There's a lot of authors who have done that and then they got into traditional publishing. But I worry that it will encourage people like, oh, if I write in this fandom, even if they have no idea about the source material, don't really even care about the like the source material or the pairing. And sometimes it's very apparent when you read a fic, you're like, oh, you didn't actually watch or read these things, did you? You're just coming in here because this is popular. And I'm sure that obviously we had a lot of Twilight, and then there's been Raylo. There are several published authors right now who are Raylo writers as Hermione. It's always going to be something because publishing is lazy and they are looking for the way to make the quickest buck. And that makes me really sad. And again, I just felt I needed to come over here and make this video. So I also just want to say that, just reiterate from earlier, that J.K. Rowling is a terrible human being. TERF, I do not support her. I don't give her any money or attention. You know, I'm not watching the new HBO series, and I'm not buying anything else that gives her money. It's really upsetting. Some people have said before, like, does she know what she wrote? You can critique Harry Potter and whatever all you want, but like, it still did have these like core values of not discriminating against people for things that, you know, like the way they are or the way they're born, and that we're all equal and love conquers all. Like, all of this she wrote that and then somehow became the antithesis of that. Like, so Umbridge was a self-insert, apparently. Okay, so I do not support her at all, okay? I know there have been some people online who say that if you read these works, then you are inadvertently supporting her because you're gonna read it or talk about it, then it's gonna be like, oh, well, it's based off of this fan fiction that's based off of this book. And then, so that might direct people to the original series. I mean, I don't share that same sentiment. I get it. But let me tell you, if you weren't aware, if you wanted to read about Draco and Hermione being together, don't read the original series because it's not in there. That's why fan fiction exists. So, just to say that, but I do not support her at all. And I feel less, every day I feel more icky about these fanfics being trad pubbed.
I just want to add that I'm not saying that people who feel like reading these books tying it back to J.K. Rowling are wrong. And I know that some people have pointed out, like, well, obviously most of this is by the traditional publisher, but the author Brigitte does have, I think, like some memes on her Instagram that are like Rose in Chains and her book, and it's saying like Hermione readers being fed. And so obviously they've had these accounts since they were writing fan fiction, so that's already going to have that on there. But I do think it would be best if they were not using anything related to Harry Potter in any kind of marketing or anything on their page while trying to market their book. So I understand why people are like, that is supporting J.K. Rowling and Harry Potter, because people are using that in marketing. But I will say, I'm mostly complaining here about the publishers because they should know better, but also I don't think it's smart for the authors to do that. I haven't seen it on Julie Soto's page. I didn't scroll back a lot, but I just see the book. I don't necessarily see her using Hermione to promote it. And then I'd have to look at Sin Lin Yu, but it's big sigh.
It just makes me really sad. I really hate it. Also, if you read any of these or any other book and you find out that they are based on a pairing that of a fan fiction, whether it's the fan fiction author or not, and like you want to go into fan fiction, like that's great. But I just need to reiterate here, and a lot of people share this information on Reddit, on TikTok, that fandom is community, fan fiction is a gift. You do not go into fandom looking about only what you can get. So if an author is taking their time to write a story, on AO3 you can give kudos, you can comment, subscribe to whips. Authors don't need to hear, I don't want to read a whip. I don't want to read it till it's finished. If you're going to do that, keep that to yourself. Nobody needs to hear that, because reading a story as a whip is so fun. It's like watching a TV show that comes out every Friday. Like you getting a new chapter, you're like, oh, a new chapter. It's so fun. So, but if you don't want to do that, like nobody needs to hear that. Be quiet. Also, you don't rate and review them. Don't add them to Goodreads. Don't add it to Storygraph. Don't go on TikTok like, oh, I read this one and it was overhyped. Or, I'm reading this fic. When does it pick up? DNF it. They are not getting paid. There is no transaction here. It's a gift economy. If you don't like it, DNF it and move on. You can, if you want to keep track of it, you can do that in a little Google Doc or whatever they call their thing, their spreadsheet, in Excel or whatever. That's what I do to keep up. You can put your own little review and rating there. That's for you. You can do that. It does not need to be publicized everywhere, okay? And you don't ask, when's the next chapter? How long is this going to take? Do you know when this story is going to be finished? Also, if you don't like a ship, don't fucking read it. If you don't like the ship, don't read it. There's this video that I have wanted to do, and then, you know, life got in the way. I still have all the notes for it, but there's like this rise, and it's a lot of young people, like this puritanical bullshit where they're coming into spaces. I see it under traditionally published books too, like people talk about it on TikTok, but I especially see it with fan fiction. Are like, oh, this is disgusting. Because here's the thing about fan fiction, you can write whatever you want. You can explore kinks and different things and all these things. It's fiction, okay? There's a lot of things that I don't read. But did you hear me? Did you hear what I said? That I don't read, I don't like it, I don't read it. Especially if you read on AO3, there's tags for things. So you can go through and be like, oh, that has Omegaverse? Oh, I don't want to read that. Oh, that has Dom Sub? Oh, I don't want to read that. So easy. Oh my God. Literally, you could type in fanfic etiquette and you will find videos and posts about how to behave. So don't like it, don't read it. Don't say oh my God, I hate the Hermione pairing, and then go seek out Hermione fics to comment shitty things on. Don't be that. The world is terrible enough. Let people have their little fun. Go find what you like. You don't like how that story is written, you can't find a fic you like, write it yourself. Okay? I just have become very passionate about it, okay? I love this little online community that I have. And, you know, people that I talk to, amazing stories. And I was at one point just like sharing how many even like words of fan fiction I was reading when I was doing wrap-ups. I'm not even gonna do that anymore. I don't even want to talk about it here. No. And I would be, a hypocrite, because obviously fanfic becoming more mainstream is how I got back into it, because I hadn't read one in like, I don't know, 7 years, right? But, you know, I got my act together and I learned how to act. And so I don't even want to, I'm not even going to, you know, people would ask what I read, give them recs. I'm not going to do that. No, I'm not going to do it. So, you know, protect fandom is basically this video. And I'm just worried. I'm just worried about these books coming out, how many more that they're going to be picking up and adapting into traditionally published books. I'm worried. There's some really amazing authors, and there's just already enough with freaking AI scrapes of fan fiction and people binding and selling fan fiction, because you can bind it for yourself or to give to someone as a gift, but there are greedy bastards who are binding it. Most of the people who bind them themselves don't sell it. It's people who are using like drop or like print on demand companies and selling them on like TikTok Shop or on Etsy, aka people who are just trying to make a quick buck, and it's disgusting. And I don't understand the people who are buying them, because it's literally online for free and you're paying $175 for it. You aren't smart. I'm gonna say that. It's online for free and you bought it. And for I see these things listed for $150, $180. So you are dumb. Don't do that. Simply look it up online. If it's been taken down, oh well, guess you can't read it. Sometimes people do allow file sharing. Like some people may have it depending on your fandom, how big it is, but like, oh well, you're not entitled to read it if it's been taken down. Like I really need us to get grip at this point with so many things. People feel like they're entitled to so many things, and you are not. So anyway, if you participate in fandom of any kind, please be kind and treat it as a community. So that does not mean you have to write, but you need to contribute. So if a writer is giving you a story, leave them comments, give them kudos. Like, you know, if you do share about things online and you're sharing positive things, just be like, oh my God, I read this amazing fic. But there, that's my rant. I will get that Irresistible urge for the blah, 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 blah. I need to film that review because I have a lot of thoughts on it. I have not read the other two, Rose and Chains or Alchemized. So yeah, I would love to know your thoughts, especially if you're a fandom of any kind. Like if you're in fandom and like reading fan fiction, what are your thoughts? Like, are you worried? Because I feel like there was a lot of more positive thoughts on my last video, and maybe that's just because I was trying to be more positive in that last video, but now my feelings have changed. So I would love to know your thoughts about this fanfic to traditional published pipeline, but especially with this marketing. And like, I'm sure there's things that I'll think of that I forgot, because I'm really just like kind of doing this in the heat of the moment, because I'm like, I'm mad, I'm gonna film it, so I might edit it in. But share your thoughts, but keep it cute. Thank you for watching. Stay blessed, hydrated, moisturized, and sunscreen. Also, I have not said this in a while, but just life is hard. So ways to support me are simply watching the video. I want to apologize for the ads, because YouTube is changing how ads are and like how you can place them, and it's so I'm sorry, but liking the video, sharing, subscribe. I would say to follow me other places, but I'm not good about social media right now, except I've been trying to do more reviews on Goodreads. And then, you know, in this economy, I know we are all struggling. If you have anything extra spare, I think I still have a buy me a coffee link. I'm not sure. Patreon, I do a lot of reading sprints and kind of like vlogging little videos there. I'm probably about to, I do have a video that's going up where I tier ranked the Met Gala looks on Patreon, because I just kind of want to start doing random fun stuff that's outside of reading there. Yes, so anyway, if you've made it this far, I appreciate you for watching the video. Take care, and I'll see you in the next one.